One of these days, Alice. P.O.W. right in the kisser. Welcome everyone to Lycanthrope's gaming space, P.O.W. Prisoners of War for the NES. This was brought to us in 1989, 1 year after the arcade version, by SNK. SNK had a couple of fairly decent games under their belts by this point, most notably Vanguard, which I have played the arcade version of on this channel, and the very famous Ikari Warriors series. In the arcade, however, this was a two-player co-op game. It's been reduced to one player on the NES. Interestingly enough, the NES version was actually ported to the PC in 2008 by a company called GamesLoad, which is a German gaming service. Very interesting choice, but at any rate, it's all released there, and it also is on a PSP SNK Arcade Classics Volume 0. Nice to see a company start with 0 instead of 1 for a change. It's always great when they acknowledge neutrality. That's all I have to say preliminarily, so without any further ado, we gotta get out of this place. Let me just load it on up here. There will be flashing lights here, I have to warn you. So there was sort of a password system, I think. This is enemy headquarters. Your orders are to invade the enemy's camp as a prisoner and destroy their leaders. That's all that they have to say to us. So let's just blow that up again. Okay, so at the start here we have a punch. I'm using Turbo Fire, by the way. We have a kick, and we do them together, we get a jump kick, which looks very goofy. The arcade version actually had a separate jump button, but the thing is it didn't convey any kind of attack. So you actually had to press jump and then press kick, or hit him at the same time to do anything, which more often than not resulted in missing everything. And we got a knife here. Once again, we have a combat knife that we throw. No, something I never understood about gaming. We can back fist like that. It's just a matter of hitting the opposite direction and punch at the same time. Now, something the arcade version did not have are these areas you could go into and beat the snot out of some enemies to... No. I said beat the snot out of enemies, not get jump kicked by them. Oh, ass face. Yeah, you can see POW can be kind of merciless on you. What I was trying to do was put my back to the wall there. Okay. And we have brass knuckles, which double our punching power. Oh, we'll get to the name in a moment, actually. He does have a name. Now notice it doubles punching power, it does not double kicking power. And I want his gun. So we can knock him around with the gun to save bullets. Or with kick, a 3-round burst. And yeah, that was very weird. Hey, Scorn, how you doing? Good to see you. Well, this guy kicks like Jean-Claude Van Dipshit. It's a little tricky to get the gun butt to line up sometimes. It was a lot more effective in the arcade. In the arcade, also, the gun had the same 10 bullets in a burst fire, but it would spread a little bit. Who's Bob's big boy? And here we have Green Berets. This is a situation where I definitely want to take advantage of the cardboard boxes over here. I can only imagine Solid Snake is hiding inside one of those. Yeah, I don't know what that logo is supposed to represent. And here we get armor. So, bullets and, both bullets and knives will bounce off us now. Sadly, kicks will not. And do we illustrate it? So, going back to this guy's name, this guy actually is codenamed, and I kid you not, Bart. Yes, Bart is his code name. And, you know, he almost looks jaundiced enough to pull that off, but... There we go, got two of them. Yeah, you notice if you hit them with the gun, they won't drop the knife. Oh, speaking of, goofy-ass names, by the way, these guys are called Commandos, but the spelling is totally off. It's a D-O-E-S, which either means they're command and they do's, or they're young deer who have been enlisted. Oh, and sometimes they try to duck the gunshots to no avail. And grenadiers. As you can see, the guys with the grenades or the guys that throw the knives will just peace out as soon as they're done their job. So you don't even need to bother with them, but hey, points. And as you see, you can jump kick while you're carrying the gun. The Green Berets are the ones you need to watch out for because they'll pull all kinds of acrobatics like that. Oh, another difference from the arcade. The arcade actually had explosive barrels that you could shoot with the gun to take out enemies. Oops. Yeah, these guys love to do that roll. Fucking... Oh, god damn it. I'm trying to save the gun for a reason. You'll see why when I get to it. But yes, this guy is codenamed Bart. Well, we're both toting guns and neither of us wants to shoot. Also, why am I trying to avoid him? I got armor. Oh, screw you. No, you are not the one that's going to do the whacking here. It's great how these guys just fly away when they're done. They do actually flash red as they get hurt in the arcade. The arcade, by the way, the reason I'm not playing that version, number one, I got much more used to the NES version. Number two, the arcade is a stone, you know, quarter-eating, lunch money-grabbing bitch. And this guy usually throws the first grenade away from you, so you can just kind of walk away from him. Yeah, this guy is captain of the Army Special Forces Unit M. Just M. He is fighting an organization called Goon. Government of Offensive Network. Yeah, so even the owner's manual suffers from severe English. I think SNK was trying to do their best Konami impression with making the manual funny, and it didn't really work. I will take no stabbies from you. No stabbies. That would fit. The Japanese name was was a whole lot more direct, though. It was God, Government of Darkness. And you can't knock him off the short part of the platform for some reason. So one other thing the arcade didn't have, that the home version does, bosses. The arcade actually only had one boss. You are just kicking away there. The home version actually had a boss for every level, and we're about to see one. This is the attack chopper. In the arcade, this was just sitting in the background chilling. And if you have the gun, this thing goes down pretty easily. But I'm going to show you how you're supposed to fight it. And I can get rid of the gun by hitting the kick button. Ass face. So what you're supposed to do, hit these guys that are coming down to throw the grenades, and chuck them at the helicopter. I think it takes about 4 or 5 to bring the thing down. Notice that they only have 1 grenade on them each. And you can hit the helicopter from either side. See it coming. You can't do anything about it. Haha. Oh god! I love him just eyes looking off to the distance. Like rolling and like, you escaping from POW camp. Yeah, I did. And we lost all our shit from the last time. But hopefully we can get it back soon enough. And we got the armor back. Fuck you. And we're going to have a few new enemies showing up in this area. See, I can bring a fist to a knife fight. Also in the arcade, you did a couple of final hit moves. For the punch, it was an uppercut. For the kick, it was a like high kick, kind of like how the jump kick looks there. Goon does have a defined aim to everything they're doing, and you're gonna love it when you hear it. Their aim is to break up the international economy and establish a worldwide smuggling ring. Now, how in the hell do you destroy the economy in the world and then have anything, earn anything from smuggling stuff? Let's see if I can hit the biker. There we go. And beat 'em up game rule number 11. Anytime a motorcyclist is knocked off his bike, the bike must skid to a stop and explode. So nice to know we have continuity there. Yeah, if you can trap these guys against a object, or even better, put your back to an object, it makes them a lot easier to deal with. Having the knucks definitely helps. Also, you always want to keep them both on one side of you. The economy of the world be Aladdin's castle tokens. I actually only went to an Aladdin's castle once because there was only one near me. And that wasn't really near me. It was in Ocean City, Maryland, which was about a good 2-hour drive. Ugh. I love the way they kind of rock back when they fire the gun, like, hey, I'll lean into it. I'll knock him into his buddy. So there's going to be some motorcyclists coming through here in a moment. They'll come through first on the top and then on the bottom. And only one of them comes back, apparently. I thought all of them did. This part's kind of annoying, because I don't know if there's actually a pattern to where those flames land. And here we have the Constructicon hook. And if you look real carefully on the, for lack of a better term, turrets, you can actually see the guys inside manipulating the cranes and raising and lowering the boom. I always kind of wondered why the chocks weren't out on these things, but okay, I thought you could walk behind it, never mind. I always wondered why the chocks weren't down on these things, because if the boom is raised or moved, it's supposed to be stabilized that way. But I guess they figured the things were so close together, the one next to it would just keep them all from dominoing. And we're in the water, so no kicking right now. And we have these frogmen, but they are actually really easy to take care of. If you let them linger too long, they will try to stab you. Like so. All you really have to do is punch in one direction, most of the time. And then turn around and punch the other direction when you see them emerge. Yeah, there was one arcade that was in Frederick. I cannot remember the name of it now for the life of me, but they used, like a lot of arcades used specific-looking tokens and such. And we got a lot of frogmen in here, but we know how to deal with them. These guys can take a little more of a beating, and armor is our reward. But the tokens they used were designed so that no other arcade could accept them. Those guys don't do anything if you just pass them by. By the way, I just like to beat them up because they're there. They had 3 slots carved in on each side of the token. One of them was in the top part of one side, and the other was in the bottom part of the other. So they would only fit into the slots on the machines one particular way. Let's see if I can knife this guy. I actually can! Haha! Never tried that before. The problem with the way they had it set up, you had to get it in so precisely that if you're hurriedly fishing for tokens and trying to continue, 9 times out of 10 you would run out of continue time. It happened to me more than once, and it infuriated me to no end. I had to usually put a couple of tokens up on the machine and just grab them off the rail. like when you'd put one up to indicate next play. So I kind of outsmarted their system, sorta. Dick? Give me your kniffy. I want. I can't throw. Yeah, I understand if it's like some kind of knife that you could theoretically throw end over end like a Bowie knife, but combat knives are not meant to do that. But you see it so often in games. One of the reasons I really liked Vendetta, you know, the knife in there was clearly like some kind of switchblade or something like that, some kind of folder. And while the enemies did throw it, you usually stabbed with it. And I think we're getting close to the boss here. The home version of POW actually had a longer length than the arcade, and also the enemies took fewer hits, so it felt like it had much better gameplay to it. Plus you had bosses as opposed to the helicopter in the arcade was at the end of the level was a Bell helicopter, like you would see in Vietnam and on MASH. And all it would really do until you got to a certain point was how someone inside would chuck grenades at you. And then eventually it would hover in place and drop endless soldiers on you. You know, the proverbial clown helicopter. Okay, this is the boss. This is Don James. Or sometimes it's run together so it looks like Don James. And this is what he does. Fortunately, he can't take a whole huge amount of punishment. And if you don't have the armor, this guy is a lot more difficult to deal with that shotgun. Four jump kicks and he's down. We made a successful surprise attack on the enemy's mobile unit. Kinky. This episode's brass knuckle sandwiches were made possible by Mike Panza, Rick in Baltimore, Viceroy Scorn, D.I.O.D., Jumpy Cat, Shin Majin, the post-production contributions of Matthew Carr Anderson, and all my punch-drunk lycanthro fans. Thank you very much for your continued support. Until we game again.